Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be talking to Markus Fendt from the Mobility House about vehicle-to-grid charging and where we are going with bidirectional charging. Markus, the first question, what is winning the race, AC or DC bidirectional charging?
AC or DC? From a music point of view, both. I can't tell you what is winning in detail. There will be both in the beginning. I think there will be both lasting for certain application. Just by the pure principles, AC should be better in the long run. Long run, I mean rather 5 years plus. Because you can drive the cost further down for the customers, and this is, I think, a key criteria that this technology will win. But not for every use case.
Okay, not for every use case, but at the Mobility House, you are at the forefront of really looking into bidirectional charging, what it can do, how it can be used. What are some of the innovations that you have really come or really seen in these past years, and what are the innovations that we should be looking out for in the coming years?
So the key innovation is we are live. You reported about that. We are live with V2G, with a series car, with a series product, with an energy tariff in front of the customer. So you can imagine after working 15 years on that, and the team relentlessly kind of programmed, discussed with all the parties that it finally works. Unfortunately, in France, which is great for the principle, but certainly I would have liked that Germany is at least kind of more or less on the same speed, but we will rather lose 1.5 years against that. So this is the key progress, which means the things work. What are the key things? It's certainly the car is in the market now. They have a charger, AC, as just discussed. We can access the car. We have a smooth app where the customer can give the needed frame conditions. We can aggregate those vehicles. We can bring them to the different energy markets and then kind of return 10 cents per plugged hour to the customer in France. So this works. More or less perfect in front of the customer. We have some kind of technical issues still in the background. And this now we need to solve for more car manufacturers, more countries, more use cases, and then kind of I think we can do the mass rollout. But V2G is not the only thread you can follow. You can also start with V1G, and every car can do V1G. And there we see a growing interest, especially from fleets, because they consume a lot of energy. So a bus in a bus depot consumes around 100 megawatt hours a year. So there immediately, when they solve the first issues, bus charger, they think about the energy bill, because this is the OPEX they can reduce. So we see now that fleets are tapping into it, that private customer, thanks to paragraph 14, so a grid fee reduction in Germany, are tapping into that so that they make use of V1G, which is already 400 euros roughly a year you can save just by charging smart when the sun is shining, when the grid is not overloaded. So this becomes now kind of a standard product. And these two staircases will evolve more and more in more countries and with more players.
Okay, I do want to stick with V2G. And you just mentioned it works in France, one car, Renault. And you said in Germany there's still some issues. But what other countries are you looking at rolling this out? What will be next on the list? Is Germany on there, or are you looking to move to the UK first, for example?
There are two frame kind of conditions that have to be fulfilled. So you need a more or less unregulated energy market where you can gain value out of flexibility, which a battery or an EV is, because you can shift load and you can store energy. So deregulated market. And the second frame condition is kind of the whole connection for end customers in this market means smart metering and stuff like this. So therefore, the markets are quite limited, and we are following those markets. The first one is UK this year, Germany. The deregulation is not quite finalized, so hopefully next year. The US and Texas, it will work. In California with some exemptions. We are looking at Japan. They also just launched an exemption on V2G to scale it beyond just backup power. So that might be kind of a positive outlook. And then certainly there are smaller countries in terms of EV volume. Netherlands is great. Benelux in general, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Yet the latter one, they rather have a very small spread, so they don't need so much flexibilities because of their hydro power plant. They have enough energy, so the potential for the customer is limited.
So it's a very global outlook. So what are maybe the global trends that you see in terms of bidirectional charging and infrastructure? Infrastructure setup. What role does bidirectional charging play on a global scale?
Very good question, because the global trend, and you can look at China. So I was really surprised. I think even electrive stated it, peaked oil. It means the first time they needed less oil in China than the years before. Also a little bit because of the economic situation, but mainly because they have 50% of the new registration are EVs already. So you need, and buses and trucks are following. You need much less oil than before. And second, they grow a lot in renewables. They grow a lot in so solar and wind in stationary storage. And kind of there you see the leading trend is cheap energy production and kind of storage for flexibility. And the cheapest storage is the storage in a car, because it's sitting there 23 hours, driving in Germany 36 kilometers a day in average. So this is roughly 8 kilowatt hours you need to drive these 36 maximum. So in efficient cars, just half of it. So these global trends, more renewables means more flexibility in a system, means more storage, and more storage can be provided by stationary batteries or by a car. So and this will not stop anymore, because it's just the economic parameters of renewables are kind of very obvious. So even drill, baby, drill will not stop, except you force somebody to it, people to buy the cheaper solution. And therefore, I think the obvious trends will be renewables and then providing flexibility service out of EV batteries. And will there be a competition of stationary and EV batteries? Yes, but not in the next, most probably 10 years. So kind of there will be now a learning phase out of stationary batteries, but that is also limited to a certain extent, because you do not have so much grid connection. And then you have EVs coming, and you learned already how powerful and useful batteries are. EVs profit from it, and then the EV driver. So I think this is a natural handshake.
Okay, last question, I promise. But with your imaginary crystal ball here, looking into it, how long until we no longer talk about a few projects that you are looking at in terms of bidirectional charging, but it's just reality, it's just everywhere?
So as an entrepreneur, I can't afford a crystal ball. So we need to kind of be successful, make money for our investors. And I can't release the names, but we have 2 further OEMs coming by beginning of next year. So all the kind of work in the background is started already, and there are 2 or 3 more discussions for the next 2 years. So you see more or less from 2026 onwards, every new vehicle will be bidirectional capable. And now it's on us to be the leading provider there and realizing it. I think with the technology stack we have, being it one side the aggregation platform, which kind of really enables that you grasp the value for the customer and connect energy markets and the different cars and vehicles. And on the other side, that we can also trade in certain markets and bring that together. We can also let the trading be done by others, or the energy tariff can be done by others. So we connect these 2 worlds, and therefore I think we have the appropriate technology stack now to scale. And I'm really proud about especially the team who worked so hard that we now are in a delivery mode. Is everything perfect from the very beginning? No, but we work hard on it, and it gets better day by day.
Okay, nothing is perfect, and you're not willing to give a date. I am, because this whole topic of bidirectional charging, vehicle to grid, is going to be a big topic at the Power to Drive in May. There will be a separate booth just dedicated to that whole topic. So I'm pretty sure we will see you there.
Sure.